All right, good morning. It is Thursday morning. My name is Jennifer Bonner. I'm the manager of nursing services here at Archer Review, and I am absolutely delighted to be starting the morning off with you. This has been an amazing week at Archer Review as we are going through the 3-day live. We are meeting new students through email. We have heard some amazing stories of passing over the holidays, and I'm really excited to be jumping in with you for our first NCLEX webinar of 2026. So thank you so much for joining me. Today, we're going to do the ultimate Archer walkthrough. Maybe you are someone brand new to Archer and you're going, Jennifer, I don't even know where to start. I know I've heard great things and I have the desire to study here, but I just don't know what to do or where to go. So today is the day we're going to walk through from beginning to end on how to study with Archer Review. So just a few background things about me. I serve as the manager of nursing services here. So a lot of what I do is working with students one-on-one through tutoring, through webinars, things like that, small groups. And so our dedication is to you. We want to see you succeed. Now, my next thing is during our time together, you are going to see, oh, someone says I'm muted. Is everybody having issues hearing me? Doesn't look like I'm muted. Okay. So the other thing that we need to know is how can you interact with us today? So if you have a question that you need answered, please go ahead and put that into the Q&A. I'm going to do my very best to answer those questions along the way. If you just have a general answer to one of my questions or a general comment, go ahead and put that into the webinar chat wherever you are joining me from. If you are joining me on YouTube or Facebook, you can go ahead and put that right there in the chat and I will be able to see those as well. So before we get started, let me know, where are you joining me from this morning? Where are you joining me from? If you could go ahead and put those into the webinar chat for me, that would be great. Leave that Q&A open for questions that need answered. Okay, Seattle, Washington, Pakistan, Virginia, California, Ghana, Canada, Vermont, Edmonton, South Carolina, Kentucky, California, Philippines, Trinidad, South Carolina, Georgia. Awesome. I'm so excited to have all of you joining with me this morning. So the first thing that I want to do is go ahead and check out, hey, what's going on at Archer Review this week? So if we head on over to Archer Review, we're going to click on nursing. We're going to head on down to RN because that's going to give us an idea of what's going on just in general. So we're going to scroll on down here to see what kind of webinars we have going on. So next week on January 12th, we have From Overwhelmed to Organized. That's for nursing students, but definitely applicable to NCLEX, and then Pharmacology Guess the Medication. So those are going to be two free resources that you don't want to miss. Now, the next thing I want to know is, hey, what kind of tutoring options do we have available? So I'm going to go up here to private tutors. I'm going to choose NCLEX, and I'm going to go ahead and scroll on down to see what's up. So looks like Megan's session for today got booked up. We are off for the weekend and back to Monday. Tiffany has a session, a 30-minute session on Monday. Lance has a session on Monday. Actually has a couple sessions on Monday. Lance is, you probably know him from social media. He is great working with our international students or just nursing students in general, those getting ready for the NCLEX. So you want to check him out. Tiffany has another session on Wednesday, and then we have some small groups. So we have fundamentals. So if you're someone that struggles with those basic things like fluids, that type of thing, fundamentals course is for you. And that's with Megan on Thursday. And then we have, let's see, looks like the rest of our tutoring sessions are booked up for the week. So that's what's going on at Archer Review. All right, so we've made it. Now we want to talk about, hey, what's the best way for me to study? Well, there's a couple different things. If you are a new grad, someone that's never taken the NCLEX before, the first thing that I'm going to recommend for you is our Sure Pass combo. So you're going to go up here, choose NCLEX. We have one for LPNs as well. So if that's you, and this is our Sure Pass combo. And so basically what this is this has all of our resources. It has our on-demand videos, it has our QBank, it has our CAT assessments, our readiness assessments, but it also gives you access to our 3-day live review, which is typically the last thing we encourage you to do before you take your exam. We offer it the first week of every month, and it's where we're going through those high yield pieces of information that are going to help you be successful on the NCLEX. We go from fundamentals all the way to specialties, and then we also include a mock NCLEX exam at the very end as well. So that is our Sure Pass. That's the one thing that we recommend. And so depending on the amount of time that you would like to have with Sure Pass will determine how much that is for you. And so you can just go ahead and scroll on down and it'll tell you right here for 3 months, 179, and then you can purchase that. Now, if you're someone that is a international student or repeat test taker, or maybe you've been out of school for a while, I'm going to recommend Intense Prep. Intense Prep is a great opportunity for you to be able to walk through information kind of as a group. You can go at your own pace, but it comes with its own study plan and kind of tells you what to do every day of the week. With Intense Prep, you can also request, there is a set number of these that you can request, but you can request individualized feedback. So where one of our amazing tutors goes through your account and says, hey, it looks like you're doing really well in these areas. Looks like these areas are a little bit weaker. So here's some suggestions on what we can do in order to bring those up. So that is a great option for those who are, you know, repeat test takers, maybe struggling with the information. There's live options for you to attend live case studies, unfolding case studies, live lectures, that type of thing. But it is a little more structured for you if you're someone that just needs a little extra help there. All right, so let's say we went ahead, we went with the Sure Pass combo. Jennifer, I need all of the things. I need videos, I need the QBank, I need the 3-day live. So I went ahead and I purchased that. So I'm going to go ahead and head on into my dashboard. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and choose a study plan. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on down to my Sure Pass combo. I'm going to make sure all of that's there, my QBank, my video library, my Sure Pass, my live lectures, and I'm going to go ahead and choose my study calendar. So you're going to notice on my screen, there are several study calendars. We have a 3-week, a 4-week, a 6-week, a 9-week, a 12-week. So let me walk through what would cause us to choose one over the other. I very, very, very rarely encourage someone to choose the 3-week study plan. It is very condensed. It's a lot of information. But if you are someone that just graduated, has already taken an NCLEX prep course, this might work for you, but it is very, very intense. Typically, what I recommend for new grads is the 6-week study plan. It's going to go through all of the information that you're going to need to review, going to give you all of the fundamentals, the specialties, and things in between that you should be reviewing. So it'll show you which videos to go watch. It will show you how many questions to take, when to take a readiness, when to take a CAT. Okay. And the difference between our readiness and our CAT exams, CATs are a computer adaptive testing. It's very similar to the NCLEX, just to kind of give you the feel. versus our readiness assessments are what we use as predictors. And we recommend at least 4 to 5 highs or very highs consecutively before you take your NCLEX exam. So we have the 6 week, we have a 9 week that's kind of a little more giving. And then we have the 12 week. 12 week is what I recommend for those repeat test takers that are using SurePass or someone who has been out of school a little longer. So it's going to go through all the information, but it's going to spread it out a little bit to give your brain just a little bit of time to digest what's going on. So let's say I'm going to choose the 12-week study plan. So I'm going to pull that up. And day one, it says lab values, 25 questions. All right. So I'm going to head on back to my dashboard. I am going to head on into my video library and I'm going to search for lab. All right, so here's my lab values. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. I'm going to watch the video, but check this out. Do you see this little paper clip right here? That tells me that I have some cheat sheets. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those up, see what I got. And I have a lab values cheat sheet, and I also have a lab values workbook or a worksheet. So that's going to be really helpful for me when it comes time for remembering these things and being able to apply them. All right, so I have done my video. I'm gonna head on back into my dashboard. I did my worksheet, and now it's time for me to go ahead and do my question. So I'm gonna head into my QBank, and I am going to create a test. Now, it will, the first thing it's going to ask you to do is your baseline assessment, just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. Where are you at right now? So you can go ahead and take that, and that's going to give you an idea of baseline, starting out, where am I? So you can track your progress. But for our purposes, I'm going to do this later. Okay. And so I'm going to choose mixed. I'm going to do subject area, and I'm going to do all of my unused. And I'm going to choose the 25 questions. Oops. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to select all areas. Next. Select all and create test. And here's our first question. So the nurse is assessing a client with systolic heart failure. Which of the following would be an expected finding of right-sided heart failure? Ascites, tachypnea, cough, or orthopnea? What do you think? Let me know in the webinar chat. What would you choose? Think right-sided heart failure. All right, I'm seeing a lot of letter A. So I'm going to choose letter A, and then I'm going to click reveal answer. And we were absolutely correct. So when it comes to right-sided heart failure, it is ascites that we typically see, right? Because of that congestion in our circulation. We also see jugular vein distension, weight gain, peripheral edema. Excellent job. So if I struggled with this one, well, even if I didn't, I want to make sure that I read all of the explanation. I want to understand why letter A is correct, but I also want to understand why letter B, C, and D are incorrect. So that's going to fuel my understanding for later on. There's also some related videos. So if I'm really struggling with heart failure, I can go ahead and watch this video to give me some more information. You see there's additional information below. And sometimes we even have little handouts at the bottom that will kind of illustrate what's going on. Now, someone said, I'm been selecting the topics they watched in the videos only. Is that not recommended? That is okay if you want to do a couple of those, but we do recommend doing all of the areas. Good question. Okay, so I've gone ahead, I've done all of my practice questions for the day. I'm good to go. So what I'm going to do is afterwards, I'm going to actually go through each of my rationales, make sure I understand them. If I'm still struggling with the why, I want to know the why behind these concepts. If I'm still struggling with those, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the video, watch it again,
or I'm going to start to dig into that particular area. So maybe I understand left-sided heart failure, but right-sided is still a little struggle. So things that I can do is I can make a list. I can make a list of right-sided versus left-sided and start to compare those. I am very much a visual learner. And so what I might do is put them side by side and I might use all my colored pens. So I might do right-sided in red and left-sided in blue. But I want to make sure that I go back and I understand why. Why does this happen? Why do I see ascites? Why would I see jugular vein distension and right-sided heart failure? I want to make sure that I understand that pathophysiology to the point where I could explain it to someone if I needed to. All right, so we have done our questions for the day. The other thing that I need you to know is that it is okay. There are times when you're going to be sick or things are going to come up to where you can't get to that information, and it's okay to just move it to the next day. But one other thing that I want to address before we go is the readiness assessments. So, readiness assessments are done a little bit differently. So, I'm going to go ahead and end this test so that I can show you what this looks like. So, it's going to ask me a couple times, hey, are you sure you want to do that? And my answer is yes. And I can review my result. Of course, I did well. So this is going to tell me kind of where is my score compared to everyone else's. And that is a good comparison because we know that on the NCLEX, what it's doing is it's looking to see if you are a safe nurse. So it's kind of plotting everyone together. And so I'm going to go ahead on back here and I am going to go back to my QBank and I'm going to show you how to set up a readiness assessment. So I'm going to hit create test. I'm going to create tests because I haven't started my baseline assessment. And this time I want to do a readiness assessment. So this orange dot up here, I'm going to go ahead and click that and it's automatically going to set it up for me. So all I have to do is do start now. Now I can do a readiness assessment as long as I have at least 85 questions that I haven't used. Someone is saying if I only buy the QBank, may I be able to watch videos in the answer? I believe those are still available to you through the QBank, but you just don't have the full video. Someone said, how many assessments do I need to take before the score statistics populate? So as soon as you take one, you will have some statistics to review. Great question. Excellent. All right. So those are our assessments, our QBank, our study plan. I am curious, do you have any questions for me in the few minutes that we have left? That is how to use Archer Review. Now, if you're still struggling, maybe you're getting lows or borderlines on your readiness assessments. You're like, Jennifer, I don't know what's going on. Can you help me? The answer is yes. I recommend at least a 30-minute, if not 60-minute private tutoring session. These are completely individualized. So if you show up and you go, Jennifer, I need help in women's health and maternity, we can absolutely help you. If you show up and go, Jennifer, I don't know what to do with just in general, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going wrong. Can you help me? The answer is absolutely yes. That time frame is completely individualized. It will look at you in particular, and you can get some study plans. You can get some tips and tricks. We can go through what you need. Now, someone is asking, what's the difference between readiness assessment and the exit exam? So, the exit exam is an additional purchase and it is meant to be taken right before you take the NCLEX. So, within that 2 week window before you, it's additional questions you've never seen before, and it's meant to give you an idea of how you would do if you took the NCLEX today. How many hours should we need to give if we're going to take the exam? My exam is in a month. So I usually say no more than 4 to 6 hours, depending on what else you have going on. So if you're working, if you have other responsibilities, but typically no more than 4 to 6 hours because your brain just can't hold that much. People who recommend or graduated a long time ago working on a license, I would recommend the 12-week study plan. Um, Intense prep is really good for those who have been out of school for a while. But if you're going to do the sure pass, I'd recommend the 12-week study plan. All right. How do you use the recommendation part of the QBank? I am not sure I understand your question. If you want to rephrase that for me and put it back in the Q&A, I'd be happy to look at that. Um, Yep. So when you're creating a readiness assessment, you create a test the same way, except you're going to choose readiness assessment after you hit create the test. Yes, Archer. So someone is asking, do we have anything for nursing school? We absolutely do. We have a whole system just on nursing school. So if you head on over to NCLEX courses, click on nursing school, we have a whole section and you can purchase those little bits however you want them. I believe they're $20 a piece. We have pharmacology, OB, mental health. Absolutely. It has comes with its own Q bank as well. Okay. You're going to see your scores on readiness assessments when you review them. So those will show up for you after you take the exam. It'll show you when you go to review your test. The NCLEX. Okay. So the NCLEX is not going to give you a certain percentage. It's wanting to see how you are scoring in relation to your peers. If you made a Q bank test instead of a baseline test, that baseline test will be there until you take it. Good question. How would you recommend testing on one subject? You still want to be able to have those questions that are in your readiness assessments. So I would take a couple questions just to make sure you're understanding, but I would not take a whole test just on pediatrics. The difference between CAT and readiness tells us how ready you are to take the exam. CATs are just kind of a computer adaptive. It kind of gives you the feel of how the NCLEX will work. Yes, you can cancel the test just like I did as we were taking that. I didn't want to go through all those questions and you can just end the test. Great question. Archer Review, we have over a 98% pass rate. We've had tons of students use us and we are dedicated to your success. So if for some reason you use our product and you're not successful, you send us an email to nursing at archerpulse.com and we're happy to set up a consultation with you. Okay. Very good. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. If I didn't make it to your question, please send us an email, nursing@archerpulse.com. We'd be happy to help you with those things. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you back next week and happy studying. Take care, everyone. I hope to see you in our 3-day live.